We've been working with clubs and instructors, big and small, from right across the UK for nearly a decade now. And in that time, we've come to learn a thing or two about student insurance. Now, when we use the term student insurance, we're also referring to student memberships and student licensing. It's known by the names to things like member-to-member or student indemnity insurance, and it points to the same thing: a collective package of membership to an association or governing body that will almost certainly come bundled with some form of student insurance. Now, there is a separate video and tutorials in which we discuss what student insurance actually is, the student public liability element and the personal accident element. But there's also different ways in which your club can access student memberships with BMABA. We provide access to 3 different types of student licensing, and which one works best for your club will depend entirely on what you're looking for, how much income you're looking to raise from your student memberships, and the way in which you wish to administer those. Now, the first thing to say here, there's nothing wrong with using student membership to your club to make profit. It's all about what you do with those profits, not the profit you make. And for many clubs, student memberships, so that will usually be an annual charge for membership to the club, with the association membership and insurance bundled in there for the student. That annual charge is a crucial source of income for a lot of clubs, big and small. It's useful when you're trying to put together cash to buy essential equipment or to replace old, worn and torn boxing rings or cages. It's incredibly important for things like major capital outlays for new websites or types of insurance your club might need. So there's nothing wrong with using student memberships to earn revenue, provided it's done in a way that's ethical and fair. So the 3 types of student insurance we offer vary, but have the same underlying level of insurance combined. So when we're talking about the types we offer, the insurances are not impeded or reduced in the level of cover they offer based on the membership option on the table. The insurance is always going to be the same leading insurance, provided with a group cover policy that you can find out a lot more about here on the website. It's just the way in which the membership itself is administered and managed which varies. So the 3 types of membership we offer are named student registrations, open allocation and self-billing. Now, named memberships are the premium option for clubs. They are the bells and whistles memberships, and it's something that BMABA have done for many years now. That's put us head and shoulders above the competition. When you join a student to the BMABA on a named student membership basis, they're always going to receive at least 3 parts of key PDF certification as standard. That's going to be a membership certificate, a student license slip, and a welcome letter or charter depending on the type of registration. There's options to include or improve on that, so it's not just PDF certification but also potentially printed documents if that's what you wish, printed license slips if preferred, student license books, hardback or softback, and also additionals such as gi patches and other merchandise. You don't have to include any of that if you don't wish to. It's just there as an optional extra to help you add value for your students should it be of value to you. So the main benefit of student named memberships is that it gives that student their own allocation by name for a full 365 days from the point of registration. Now, we can do pro ratas if your club needs to tie registrations throughout the year to a certain renewal date, but by default we'll just do it for a full year. That means that student is committed to a membership spot for a year, fully certified with documentation that shows they're registered with BMABA. We can stand behind that member, we can accept the grades you tell us they've earned and ratify them on a national basis in perpetuity. So should they transfer to another club in the future, we can provide that proof of grade that shows that the grades you've issued have some worth, so your grades are recognised nationally by proxy. That student also has access to our leading student portal, our student liaison officers, access to all of our leading online content such as tutorials and videos designed just for students. And this is all because they are a named member for the full year. And that allows us to invest heavily in the resources and time we put into helping you retain students. Now, the drawback to named student registrations is that it is an annual membership. Now, this means if a student joins you and after 2 months leaves you, you cannot recycle that slot for the remainder of the year. And that's because we've already issued documentation and most likely merchandise for that named individual. Now, we do offer every club 28 days free student insurance. It's unlimited, so you can register as many students as you wish for a free 28-day period initially. So you haven't got to commit them to cover straight away, but it's something to bear in mind. If you have quite a high churn rate in your club and you're constantly seeing students come and go after 6 months, then of course that is going to create additional costs for your club. Now, the logic says that you will be charging a student registration fee every time anyway, so it doesn't really hit you in the same way. It's not like you're paying additional costs when the student isn't paying you again, but it's certainly something to bear in mind for some clubs. Now, the second option we offer is something called open allocation, and this is becoming increasingly more popular. With open allocation, rather than telling us you wish to register 1, 2, 5, 10, 100, 1,000 students, and here's the names and committing them to an annual registration period, with open allocation, you're effectively purchasing a block of student memberships combined with insurance. This allows you to then issue those memberships at club level yourself without having to come to us first, and you can then manage those policies and memberships throughout the year, constantly recycling and reassigning memberships as and when students come and go. Now, the obvious benefit here is it's much more cost effective. Effectively, you could pay for one student placement for the whole year and have 3 or 4 students go on and go off cover as and when they come and train with you and stop training with you. The downside, of course, is that they're not going to receive that named certification. Now, of course, you will have access to the instructor portal in all instances anyway, so you can always see who's assigned cover, and you can always reassign that cover yourself at club level, so there's no concerns from your end as to whether or not they've been committed to a place. But it does become much more about you having good housekeeping to let your students know they're registered and to demonstrate that. A good way of doing this is using this unique student registration number and some of our pre-templated certification and license slips that we provide freely to all of our members to use from our members area. And you can use that to show your students they are on risk and give them their unique student reference number so they know what slot they've been assigned to. But it does create a little bit more onus on you and the club to keep an eye on who's on risk, make sure students have been assigned to cover, and to take people off risk when they're no longer training with you. Of course, the headline fact there is it's going to work out to be more affordable and slightly more flexible for you because you can assign someone 24/7 and then unassign them as you wish. The third option is self-billing, and this is a great option for smaller clubs that don't want the administrative overhead, but it's also becoming a very good option for slightly larger clubs that have an affiliate-based model in place. With self-billing, you register for free as a club from our members area for the self-billing option. Give us some of the key details on your club. If you wish, you can co-brand documentation, so the membership and licensing slips going out in the post to students will have your branding on there as well as ours. And what effectively happens is the student then logs on to our student portal themselves and they register and pay for their own memberships. This allows a student to always receive a very premium membership package, which includes PDF certification and printed documents, license slips, and merchandise with a license book. So they're always getting something tangible that justifies the charge. It also allows you to completely remove any costs, any admin, and any payment processing from your end when it comes to student registrations. You can kick that back to the student and make the onus or the responsibility themselves to take care of registering and renewing their memberships with us directly. And of course, when they do register or renew, you can track that from the instructor portal and you can access their documentation so you know it's all in place and valid. Now, the self-billing option comes with the bonuses mentioned in the named student registrations, as in you can assign grades that are nationally ratified, they can access all of our student community and resources and liaison officers. And in addition to them taking care of their own payments and saving you the administrative overheads, every time they do make a payment, your club will also receive a credit. And that credit can be used at your renewal to pay for your instructor or club's memberships and insurance fees, hopefully achieving the status as it is intended to do for many of our clubs, whereby the student registrations pay for the club's renewal and memberships and insurances for the year, taking away any of those costs entirely, and the club then charges a slightly smaller club membership fee that gives them that additional capital they wish to retain or earn to help towards new kit. So they're the 3 student membership options we offer to clubs and instructors. There is something there for everybody to choose from. You can mix and match. You can use some of the named student registrations for some students or classes, some open allocation for others, and self-billing for others. We have some clubs, for example, that use open allocation for teaching in schools because there is a high churn rate on different students coming and going. And then they use self-billing for adult classes and name registrations for student classes for juniors. It is up to you to decide if you wish to register students at all, and if so, which option works best for you to help you add value for money to your club registrations.